morning. I'm Tony Schrader, Chairman of the Putnam County Republican Party. We're on the road today with doing another episode of our Putnam County GOPTV, and we're delighted to be joined by a very fresh-looking Representative John Cross. We're down here in Kenton this morning. I mention that because he was on the House floor until well after midnight last night. You said you got back about 3:30?
I did. I got back home 3:30. We got off the House floor last night at 2 o'clock, and we got through a series of good legislation, and we were on the floor for probably 13, 14 hours.
That's phenomenal.
And it's good to be home, and welcome to Hardin County.
Thank you very much. It's always good to be here.
I love it.
Good friend Chairman Rob Radway is away today, but it's always nice to be in his territory. And we really appreciate the time you're giving to us today.
Sure.
We wanted to come visit with you, introduce you a little bit more to the folks in Putnam County, maybe the western reaches of Northwest Ohio.
Sure.
You represent Hancock County, Hardin County. You have to fill in part of Logan
Part of
County,
Logan
too, I
County,
think,
that's right.
as well.
The
And
83rd District.
the 83rd District of Ohio in the House of Representatives. So fill us in a little bit on your background. Tell the folks how you wound up in the House of Representatives.
I will. Well, thank you, and hello to everybody in Putnam County. It's great that we steal these guys away and bring them down to Hardin County. But I was born and raised here in Hardin County, right here in Kenton. My mother and father, my dad was a Mount Victory Green Devil, mom was a Kenton Wildcat, and the rest is history. And so we grew up here, love this community, love Northwest Ohio, love everything about Northwest Ohio. Went to Ohio State, and I had a great career in business, real estate development, politics, government. I happened to live and work in states like Dallas, Texas, and cities like Dallas and Texas and Kansas City and California. So I got a real great perspective of our country. I worked in states that were not business friendly, like California.
Right.
I worked in states like Texas that were business friendly. And so I certainly got some great experiences, and I didn't really think much about my history of work until I got in the legislature, about what those were great experiences to bring to the forefront of working on good policy to make Ohio safer and stronger and keep this place open for business, and try to really bring a pro-economic development opportunity to this. I recently served as the Economic Development Director in Hardin County and was president of our Chamber and Business Alliance. I love everything about our community. I think we have some of the best workforce, the hardest working folks of Ohio. We're biased. We love Northwest Ohio.
Absolutely.
And a good friend of mine from Findlay said, you need to run for the legislature, the seat's going to come open up. And some history, Hardin County, last time we had someone from Hardin County in the legislature was 1963, and they had legislative districts formed in 1967. So it's been a long time, over 50 years, since someone from Hardin County has been in the legislature. Wow. And it's a great honor. I serve close to 120,000 people, like you said, all of Hancock County, all of Hardin County, and the 3 northern townships of Logan County. So we get a little bit of Indian Lake all the way over to West Mansfield. So that's the district.
Well, and one of the reasons we wanted to talk with you as well, related to that, is Northwest Ohio has become consistently more Republican and more conservative over the past few decades. And we want to spotlight some of our fantastic leaders in the General Assembly who are really leading the charge in terms of the agenda of what the General Assembly is doing in Ohio. And so we're very delighted that you're not only in office there, but that you hold similar values and outlook in terms of what we think is right.
You know, I in a bio for our social media, I always talked about, you know, being a proud father and husband, a principled conservative, and someone who's passionate. And you sometimes will see the passion. And lately, you have seen a lot of passion
We
come
have.
from me, because I'm willing to fight for our rights and freedoms. It's as simple as protecting our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Well, you raised the subject, so let's talk about it.
Sure.
As some of our folks may have seen your presence online, because it seems like every time you're on, your videos and your presence goes virtual or viral.
Yeah.
We're seeing that all over the place.
Yeah.
Tell us where we stand with what's going on with the COVID-19 response in Ohio now.
Well, as of today, yesterday, Dr. Amy Acton resigned, and
You called for her resignation.
I called for her resignation. I'm not sure if the governor read my letter and decided to have her resign, but in all seriousness, I think a couple things. I think the legislature continues to put pressure on checks and balances. We need oversight. I think Dr. Amy Acton, the reason why I called for her resignation is she was consistently off her mark on projections. And we have now gone into an economic crisis. I've talked about here in the 83rd district, prior to a nursing home flaring up, we had one sad death,
Right.
And very few cases. But we shut our entire economy down.
Right.
And in Hardin County here, we've got 22% unemployment, 30% unemployment in Logan County, which
Wow.
is the highest in the state, and 17% unemployment in Hancock County. Now, the good news is, we know the data on the recovery of jobs. The
Mhm.
president talked about all the new jobs coming back. I suspect our unemployment rates will drop a little bit because the jobs are coming back online. Ohio is opening for business.
Mhm.
And if you break the governor's phases into 30, 60, 90 days, I think we were all comfortable with the first 30 days.
Right.
We didn't know what was going on. We don't understand what this virus is going to do.
Mhm.
But once we started getting data and facts, once we saw that it wasn't as bad, the legislature started to really put pressure on the governor, because we were feeling the pressure and the heartburn from the businesses, the small business owners. I was a member of that economic task force.
Mhm.
We heard the pain and suffering from businesses who couldn't open up, who had trouble slowly opening up. And then the additional orders at the end of May,
Right.
with the extension to July 1st. And so we kept the pressure up because we're not getting the full truth, we're not getting the full data, the full set of facts. How sad is it that we have to pass a piece of legislation, as we did on the House floor this week, House Bill 624, Representative Grendel's bill,
Mhm.
to ask the Ohio Department of Health to give us all of the facts.
All the information.
Tell us all the information, because if you look at the data, all the facts about recovery and all the good positive news is buried in the bowels of the ODH website.
Right.
Why aren't we hearing that on the 2 o'clock press
Right.
conferences?
Mhm.
You know, I'm not here to debate science. I'm not here to debate the virus. I'm not here to debate, not having health credentials. My debate is on the economy.
Right.
We can't let a health virus continue to put us in fear.
Mhm.
It's about confidence.
Right.
And if we have the right data and facts to show to the Ohioans that show that it's not as bad as we just learned the last 2 months, 79% of the cases of the deaths are related to nursing homes.
Right. Mhm.
So are we gonna shut down polling locations,
everything.
schools, businesses, because 80% are coming from nursing homes?
Mhm.
No. Businesses know how to adapt. They know how to stay safe. So my whole argument has been, Governor, don't sign health orders in the future if there's ever problems. We know how to stay open and operate with safety protocols and safety
Right.
conditions
In the first place.
and maintain our economy,
Mhm.
because we cannot go through unemployment like we did.
We can't do it again.
Right.
And one of the things I noticed a couple of days ago, that the administration's budget office now is estimating a shortfall of about $2.3 billion
On a
next
good
year.
day, right?
Yeah. And that's assuming that we're gonna be having recovery in
Right.
sales tax and other revenues. So it's not, you can't use just economic costs to talk about treatment of a virus, for example. But there are real consequences
That's
to
right.
what actions we have taken, and we need to, I think, focus on what we're doing going forward.
Having a $2, $3, $4 billion shortfall in the state budget, now when I was running for office, the fastest way to learn about the budget was, 70-80% of the budget is to educate, incarcerate, and medicate.
Right, mhm.
And you look at the entire budget, and we certainly don't want, the governor talked about trimming down on education.
Right.
When we need to be investing in education.
Right, in the first
our
place.
children in the
Mhm.
first place, to help with our workforce and career opportunities. So it's going to be a challenging, but here's the good part, and this is what I love about being a Republican and fiscally responsible. Give me that budget, and we're gonna start to go through and trim the fat.
Right.
We're gonna tighten the belts, because we've asked ODOT, when we had to look at how to properly fund highways and roads and user fees, we asked ODOT to cut $100 million out of the budget. Let me give you one example for everyone in Putnam County to think about this. We asked ODOT, give us some examples of how you're saving over $100 million over the course of 4 years. They took all their printers inside ODOT and around the state, and they put them on black ink only, not
Mhm.
colored, and they did double-sided. That was the automated thing. Just by doing that in the first 2 months, they saved $275,000.
Incredible.
Can you imagine if we asked all of our state agencies to do best practices to save down and cut costs?
Right.
That should just happen regardless.
Mhm.
And I think when we had an economy that was fat and sassy and things were rolling and people were making lots of money, we're not overly paying attention to where we can trim the fat. Now, we need to definitely figure out what are the priorities
Mhm.
and how do we cut on some of those unnecessary costs.
Right, to be able
So,
to get us to it, and because the fiscal,
That's right.
the fiscal emergency still lies ahead of us.
that's right.
And that's the part that we're gonna have to be addressing.
Even in education, we looked at passing laws where, you know, maybe not all juniors have to take the SAT, ACT, and
Mhm.
so we've given maybe parents the opportunity to opt in. Most people don't know it's $5 million in the biennium of the budget to give a junior a ACT test, SAT test.
Wow.
$30 million in a biennium budget to give out these flawed report cards that no one likes
Right.
with schools. So when you start looking at the line item, there's a lot of fat we could trim
Mhm.
and start to move up these priorities where we can help kids get a solid education, properly fund it, and get rid of some of these unnecessarily regulations and mandates. Well, I think a good way to wrap up is when you look at the full legislative body, we are trying to fight hard to make Ohio safer.
Mhm.
And given all that's going on, now's the time to we need to do everything we can to keep our communities safe, to be economically stronger, and to keep Ohio open for business. I think you look at the body of the work, our Ohioans can be proud of what we're getting done, helping families out, businesses, schools. It's a great honor to serve. I love serving the people. And I think when people get to know me, I'm passionate, when I want to fight hard and fight for what I know is right, we're doing that. But I've got a big heart too. And when we need to work on other legislation to help, like the adoption bill,
Mhm.
We certainly want to do that. So I don't think we're a one-sided legislator. We're doing a lot of good work across the scope of practice.
It's been a very productive time, I think, in Columbus, and
Yeah.
in particular for Northwest Ohio. So
Yeah, we love having you down in Hardin County.
we're delighted.
And
to be
I
here,
want to
so-
come up to Putnam County. Listen, I heard you guys are a blast, and you guys have a great time up there, and we want to come up and see you and say hello, and we're looking forward to
We'll
coming
show
visit.
you a good time.
Absolutely,
John,
absolutely.
we appreciate
Hey,
the time
thanks.
today.
I appreciate
Great,
it.
great
Yeah.
seeing you here, and we'll see you next time.